Russ, thank you. For Tottenham fans of a certain generation, this lengthy absence from the final would have once seemed inconceivable. At one stage, Spurs graced 4 finals over the course of a decade, a golden era that provided moments indelibly seared on the mind's eye, culminating in victory over Nottingham Forest in 1991. But they haven't reached any of the 30 finals since. Is this their year? By the end of the night, half the Premier League teams will have been eliminated from the competition, with another top-flight side guaranteed to fall here this evening. In amongst those halcyon Spurs days of the 80s came Brighton's only ever final, the day they came so close to glory against Manchester United. They too wait for a return. Semi-final in 2019, the closest they've come. The side have only been beaten 4 times in all competitions this season, and just once on the road, have more pedigree now than ever before. Spurs line up with Lloris in goal, Romero, Sanchez and Davis, Emerson Royal, Højbjerg, Winks and Reguilon, Lucas Moura, Kane and Son. Brighton, Sanchez in goal, Webster, Duncan, Cucurella, Lamptey and March out wide, a midfield diamond, Bissouma, Gross, Modder and Lallana, and Neil Maupay up front. It will be Brighton in their change kit of mint green, kicking from left to right, who will get this game underway. The referee tonight, Stuart Atwell, whose last game here was Nuno's final match in charge. Spurs hoping that his return to this magnificent stadium is a slightly better night from their perspective. Well, the referee just waiting for the signal. The next blow of his whistle will see the... Well, it's a weekend that's seen a shock exit for Manchester United, a trip to Agbra that was nearly the Hammers' house of horror. Plymouth, a penalty kick away from taking Chelsea the full distance, and 2 Premier League sides eliminated. And another one's going to go tonight, live on TalkSport 2. Spurs against Brighton, and alongside me, Matt Holland.
Looking forward to it. Both sides have made 5 changes, but 2 very strong sides on display. 2 teams that will fancy their chances of going the distance in this competition. Brighton won't be one of the fancied sides, but they're capable on their day of mixing it with the big boys.
Bissouma linking up with Pascal Gross in the midfield. Lamptey to Webster. Now Lallana, who's actually sitting that little bit deeper today. They're trying to work it out towards the right-hand side. Lamptey thought it was a Brighton throw. It's been given the other way. So that midfield diamond has got Modder at the tip. Bissouma's at the base of it. And Adam Lallana is playing one side and Pascal Gross the other. Brighton working it forward. Ben Davis can head it away. Flick round the corner by Winks, but straight to Bissouma. Now picked up by Adam Lallana to Marc Cucurella, the impressive Spaniard. Played out wide towards March. First chance for him to run at Emerson Royal. Flicked in by Lallana, but Maupay didn't make the run he was hoping for. And it goes straight through for Hugo Lloris, who straight away batters it forward. And Harry Kane has done well to win the physical challenge against Webster. Played by Kane down the left-hand side. Webster with a really strong and fair challenge. Got there ahead of Reguilon. Gross turns it round the corner for Lamptey and instructs him to turn. Lamptey making his way at the touchline. Ran out of room and ran into Højbjerg. And it's a Tottenham throw. Good start, good tempo to the game with 2 gone here on TalkSport 2. 0-0.
It has been an excellent start to the game. Really high tempo, intensity from both sides. Great touch from Harry Kane when the ball went forward. He relatively has had a tough season, hasn't he? I know you look at it, he's got 13 goals, only 5 of them in the Premier League. They want to improve on that. And certainly I think in the last couple of weeks we're starting to see Harry Kane returning to somewhere near his best. Upset that perhaps he didn't get his move in the summer to Man City. It looked like that might well happen, it didn't. And he's had to, I think, just adjust to life at Spurs again. This season it's taken him a while to get back to anywhere near his best.
Here's Romero. Laid out to Emerson Royal. Back from him to Davison Sanchez. Spurs able to bring it forward down the left-hand touchline with Ben Davis, who's got Reguilon. Boots on the touchline. Quick little 1-2 between him and Son. Back for Son again. Infield towards Harry Kane. Kane Sticking his foot through the ball to fire it out towards the right-hand side for Emerson Royale. Lucas Moura comes to meet it. Davison Sanchez making his way forward from centre-half. He's playing on the right of the three. Harry Winks now in towards Højbjerg. Højbjerg urged to shoot. Sets up Ben Davies instead, who looked as though he's tempted just for a moment. Played it instead into the feet of Son, who gave him a return ball. The Welshman just couldn't quite get there inside the penalty area. And it's gone out of play for a throw. This is a game that's really easy on the eye. Inside 3.5 minutes, two good footballing sides, and I think we're in for an absorbing encounter, but it's still 0-0 and chanceless up to this point.
It's interesting, isn't it, how the two teams have lined up, both in the back three, so that means the two wider centre-backs are going to have a lot of the ball. At times they're going to have the ability and the opportunity to get forward, as we just saw from Ben Davies. Cucurella does it naturally for Brighton. Adam Webster's excellent on the ball. I think Ben Davies has just done it. He's just got himself into the box. Davison Sanchez less so on that right-hand side of the back three for Tottenham, but he has made a couple of runs forward already.
Here's Moura, just losing out, and an opportunity for Brighton to try and bring it forward. March, who was in there very strongly in the challenge, won back though well by Sanchez. Winks neat and tidy, can go back for Ben Davies. Now to Christian Romero. He's a player that Spurs really have missed. His last game for the club coming under Nuno. Cucurella played out to the left for the run of Modder, and she's blocked off there over on the far touchline. And it's going to be a Brighton free kick.
Great work from Cucurella, because Lucas Moura dropped deep, looking to get on the ball. He followed him all the way into the middle of the pitch, nicked it off him and got Brighton on the attack.
So this free kick, which Brighton will take, is midway between the edge of the penalty area and the halfway line, and it's out towards the left-hand touchline. Spurs keeping a high line way outside the penalty area. In fact, they're only really about 14-15 yards from the ball in terms of distance to the dead ball line. Two Brighton players standing over it. Lamptey at the far post is in plenty of space. It's going to take some delivery to be able to find him. Lallana and Lewis Dunk back in the side, waiting for a flick on. It's delivered very deep. Webster was the target, but it's easily claimed by Hugo Lloris, who will catch it and again look to try and get it forward as early as possible. Bowls it out instead for Ben Davies. And now Winks will play it across the edge of his own penalty area, and Spurs can bring it forward. It's 0-0. We play 5.5 minutes at Holland alongside me, Jim Proudfoot, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight. You're listening to live coverage of the FA Cup on TalkSport 2, thanks to Neutrogena T-Gel Therapeutic Shampoo. And a reminder that over on TalkSport right now, build up to Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Williams. That's coming your way exclusively on TalkSport. Ring walk expected to be about 10 o'clock tonight, but the build up from Cardiff live for you right now over on TalkSport. If you've got the TalkSport app, you can seamlessly swipe between your choices of live sport this evening.
Look forward to listening to that on the way home. I'll tell you what, you talk about this stadium, this Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it really is something special. Not quite full tonight, there's a few empty seats as we look around, but it's a good atmosphere inside, and it is a really top-notch stadium.
Højbjerg's ball forward. Lucas Moura played the way that he was facing, back inside his own half. And Tottenham can go back for Romero. It's already been such an engaging day of FA Cup action. West Ham really getting away with it at Kidderminster. Chelsea to a lesser extent at home to Plymouth in two of the live games that we've already brought you. And a winning start for Frank Lampard's Everton against Brentford. It's Man City, Chelsea, West Ham, Palace, Everton, Southampton, Norwich all through. So too Middlesbrough, Huddersfield, Peterborough, Stoke and Luton. And more live games coming up for you tomorrow. Liverpool against Cardiff on TalkSport from 12. And Forest against Leicester on TalkSport from 4. Incidentally, the Premier League game earlier, which we also brought you live on TalkSport, finished Burnley 0, Watford 0 in Roy Hodgson's first game in charge. Davison Sanchez in possession for Tottenham. Lays it back for Lloris, who's not too far short of 400 Spurs games now. 397 for him tonight. Here's Son. Son into a congested midfield area for a moment. Højbjerg put under pressure, got rid of the ball away from Bissouma, and it goes out towards Davison Sanchez, who can play it forward towards halfway, and now plays a ball that splits the defensive lines for Brighton, finds Lucas Moura. He works it wide out to the left for Reguilon. Reguilon shown inside intelligently by Lamptey. Couldn't get himself into a shooting position. Very left-footed Reguilon. And Brighton have the opportunity to bring it away as Lallana made progress, and then the retreating Reguilon just caught him. And it's a free kick for Brighton in the heart of their midfield. 0-0, 8 minutes gone on TalkSport 2.
Typically composed from Adam Lallana, just skipping past a couple of challenges before just giving themselves a bit of a breather, because Tottenham had a good spell of possession. Lucas Moura causing Brighton 1 or 2 issues with his movement and the positions that he's taken up. I said Cucurella filled him in moments ago, but he hasn't done that since, and Lucas Moura's picked up some good possession on the turn, turning and facing the Brighton defence. You mentioned the teams that went through there, you listed them, who's through to the next round of this FA Cup. Tell you what, there's some scares along the way as well for some of the sides. West Ham, particularly at Kidderminster. Plymouth gave Chelsea a scare. The only real shock we've seen so far has been Middlesbrough beating Man United for all the scares that we've seen.
Yeah, a game that you could have heard last night on TalkSport and nowhere else on national radio. Our exclusive game, Manchester United 1, Middlesbrough 1. Both winning at 8-7 on penalties. Lucas Moura dispossessed here. An opportunity for Brighton to bring it forward quickly. Good movement from Mopé down the inside left channel. Lallana played him in. Mopé forced back out by the presence of Romero, but he's found Bissouma out to march on the left-hand side for Brighton. Chops it back onto his right foot. Still doesn't deliver. Finds Cucurella instead. A long-edge Spaniard back through the midfield for Yves Bissouma. Still a Brighton player. Always a relief for Seagulls fans when a transfer window shuts and Bissouma's still registered to them. Back out towards March, left-hand side of the penalty area, taking on Emerson Royale, lays it back towards Bissouma. Cucurella forward in support once more, left-footed ball in from him. Davison Sanchez with an acrobatic flying header, got it half clear. Højbjerg can help it further away, and then Cucurella, who's a clash between him and Lewis Dunk, both attacking the same ball. Cucurella won the ball and took Dunk out in the process, but he got it back to his goalkeeper. Calmly helped Dunk back to his feet and then received the return ball out from Robert Sanchez. There was no harm done for Brighton. With 10 minutes in, and still neither goalkeeper has had an opportunity to exhibit their ability. Dunk out towards Cucurella again. And the Spaniard, his black gloves on. It's a pretty brisk night here in North London. Back for Modder. Mopé just falling over as he tried to receive the ball forward. Spurs calm things down again at the back with Ben Davis.
They do calm things down, but Harry Winks there, he had an opportunity to try and pick out Reguilon on the left-hand side, who made a run forward and just neglected, turned back, gave it to his centre half, and just as you say, calm things down. But sends the Spurs fans a little bit frustrated. I think that's what they miss in the middle of the pitch, that bit of positivity about their passing, those forward passes into the front men.
Here's Kane, just dropping off. Houston went with him and found Lallana with an excellently timed sliding challenge. It's interesting that Spurs forward three back together, but frequently will condense the play into within about 15 yards, all three of them in a central position. And clearly there's then space out wide because the Brighton back three are detailing them closely. As Lamptey deals with the latest crossfield ball, lost his footing. Son can bring it forward, but Lamptey judged to have been fouled by Reguilon. And the Spurs fans and players far from happy with that decision from Stuart Atwell, as Tottenham have manoeuvred themselves into a really good position. Didn't seem to be an awful lot in it. Seeing the replay, I think there was a little bit of contact. Lamptey made sure the referee realised that there had been some.
Yeah, my initial reaction was it was a foul. There was a little clip on the heels of Lamptey from Reguilon. It really interesting actually.
Oh, mistake, terrible mistake by Sanchez. He's got away with it. The ball just bobbling his way on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he tried to play the ball out towards Webster, and he made a real hash of the pass, and it fell for Kane, who didn't realise just how much time he had on the edge of the penalty area in a central position, and he went for it first time, trying to knock it past Sanchez, but he had the time to bring it down, pick his spot. In the end, all he did was pass it back to the Brighton goalkeeper. Possession turned over again. It's Kane again. This time he scores. Brighton had had the warning. They didn't heed it, and 30 seconds later made a similar mistake, playing out from the back, caught in possession. Harry Kane missed the first one. He wasn't going to pass up the second opportunity. 13 minutes in, the 299th goal of his career. It's Spurs 1, Brighton 0.
And it's a special goal from Harry Kane. Graham Potter insists on his Brighton side playing out. They've made one mistake. They get away with it. Robert Sanchez making a hash of his clearance. It fell to Harry Kane and he couldn't take advantage. This time it's Adam Webster. Couldn't decide what to do with it. Should he try and play into midfield? Should he turn back and go back to his goalkeeper? In the end, he just gives it straight to Tottenham. The ball finds its way to Harry Kane, and 22 yards out, he opens up his body and curls one into the far corner. It is a special goal from the Spurs centre forward. Lovely finish.
Harry Kane has got a fantastic record in the FA Cup. He's got a pretty good record against Brighton as well, and both of those have been improved with an excellent finish. The mark of a good goal scorer. You pass up one opportunity, you don't even think about it, and you just wait for the next one to come. He didn't have to wait very long. 15 goals he scored in 24 FA Cup ties in his career, but that's 12 in his last 12 games in this competition, and he's now scored in 5 of his last 6 matches against Brighton, including 3 in a row here. Spurs 1, Brighton 0.
How good a chance would you describe that? Because it wasn't a great chance, was it? I mean, he had an awful lot to do still, 22, 23 yards out. If you're a fan of expected goals, I'm not sure, what, 0.1 maybe of a chance? It wasn't a clear-cut opportunity by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a fabulous finish.
Having missed one that was probably the 0.3, 0.4 just before that.
It came at him quite quickly, that one from Robert Sanchez. It was totally unexpected. You know, he just fancied Robert Sanchez to play the ball out to Adam Webster, got it sort of caught underneath his feet, and it lifted to Harry Kane. Quite quickly it came at him, so I think it was a more difficult chance maybe than we thought initially. But I'll tell you what, it's some finish for the opener.
Well, Brighton have got a very good record compared to most sides of being able to pull deficits back. They haven't lost any of the last 5 games in which they've gone 1-0 down, but in the Cup they're going to have to extend that record yet further here in North London tonight. Harry Kane's goal number 299 in game number 499 for club and country. Sanchez, again, not the best kick, a spinning ball out towards this near touchline, which Reguilon can head back. Webster returns it with a little bit of interest, but goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Tottenham left-hand side. 16 gone. Spurs 1, Brighton 0 here on TalkSport 2. And another reminder that over on TalkSport right now, build up to Chris Eubank Jr. and Liam Williams, which is coming your way exclusively on TalkSport from 10 o'clock. Quick throw taken down the Tottenham left-hand side, where Emerson Royal, the right wing-back, just finds himself on the left wing for a moment, and his industry is rewarded with another throw that Spurs will take about 10 yards from the corner flag. Son's taken it, back for Reguilon, who controls it on his chest. He goes back for Ben Davis, and back further inside his own half for Romero.
I think that's been a real feature of the first 15-16 minutes, is the 2 wing-backs for Tottenham are pushing further forward than the Brighton wing-backs. Reguilon and Royal are really forcing March and Lamptey on the back foot. And you talked about how the Spurs front three are quite narrow, quite tight, and the space is out wide. Well, Lamptey and March are quite deep because Reguilon and Royal are really pushing forward.
Ball off the top of Lewis Dunk's head, back for Cucurella. And in turn he goes back for Robert Sanchez. Long clearance from him. I think he was expecting that Lamptey was going to be able to make a run into a slightly more infield position. It wasn't forthcoming. In the Premier League earlier today, Burnley 0, Watford 0. A result that really doesn't do too much for either of them. Here's Pascal Gross down the right hand side of the penalty area. Challenge on Lamptey. A challenge that has become a hallmark of Romero's game. Very strong and fair defending from the Argentinian was excellent. Back for Webster. Tall blonde-haired defender for Brighton. Now Marc Cucurella, who's neither. Ball out towards March. March Shown inside by Emerson Royale. Set up well for Yves Bissouma, who just lost his trailing foot as he tried to get a shot in on the edge of the penalty area, and that meant that it bobbled innocuously wide. It's 1-0 Tottenham with 18 gone.
Well, he worked the angle really nicely, Yves Bissouma. Feinted to shoot on the edge of the box, cut back onto his left, just as he's about to strike it with his left foot, he slips. And it ends up going harmlessly out for a goal kick to Spurs. But look, we talk about Brighton and how they like to play. I enjoy watching Brighton play because they look to play from the back. Graham Potter encourages it. They won't be phased after giving a goal away from playing out from the back. He'll still demand that they do the same things. Robert Sanchez getting on the ball, trying to play to his centre halves. There's been a couple of mistakes already early on in the game, but he continually asks his players to continue to try and play out from the back.
Yeah, it's all belief in the process. The risk-reward ratio. He knows that it does come with an inherent risk at times, and we've seen that tonight. Kane brilliantly capitalising on an error from Webster. Right, still yet to have a sight of goal of note. Hadn't had a shot on target, just that one scuffed effort a few moments ago wide from Bissouma. Harry Winks has the ball in the midfield. Just a little reverse in towards Lucas Moura. He's done well to play it back for the blue-booted Romero. Son, similarly clad, finds Ben Davis. Now Højbjerg into the feet of Kane. Back for Son. Kane picking it up almost as a number 6 there and then driving it forward, but Emerson Royale, the furthest advanced of his teammates, couldn't get the run in behind Solly March, and it goes through for Robert Sanchez.
Yeah, nice play again from Tottenham. Harry Kane just dropping deep on this occasion and trying to find one of those wing backs who, as I say, have really ventured forward. It's been very positive early on in the game.
Spurs coming into this game on the back of 6 wins in the last 9 Premier League matches, but they've lost 3 of the last 5 games in all competitions. Brighton, for their part, 3 draws in a row, only 3 wins in 19, but only 1 away defeat all season, which came at Aston Villa. I think Albion fans would tell you that probably was their worst performance of the season so far. There really haven't been too many of them. There's work to do in this one. Webster, 10 yards inside his own half, square to his left. Lewis Dunk getting it away from Harry Kane to find Cucurella. Cucurella's ball down the left-hand touchline. March able to climb high and flick it on, but to nowhere in particular, just down towards the corner flag. Brighton trying to win the second ball, but did so unfairly. The battle of the 2 number 8, seeing Bissouma foul Winks, and Spurs have a free kick on the edge of their own box. 20 gone, and Tottenham 1-0. Will feel they're probably over the piece there, just about good value for it.
Yeah, I would say so. I think they've been the better side in the game. Brighton yet to really gain control of the middle of the pitch, where we thought they might have the numerical advantage. Extra men in there, but so far they haven't been able to do that.
So why is that? Well, because it is 4 against 3 in there. So what have Spurs been able to do to stop Brighton being able to get a foothold in there? Get your views on that in a moment. It's gross. Plays it out towards Mono, who's drifted into a wider position this time. His initial cross is blocked by Davis, who then did well to bring it away and find Son. Son turned into, and then in the blink of an eye, out of trouble. Kane sends a pass across the edge of his own penalty area, which just evaded Modder, but he's found Davison Sanchez, who can now bring it forward.
I think they've been able to condense the units, Jim. I think the gap between the midfield and the defence of the midfield and the attack have been really good. It's not got stretched at all. There's Moura and Son have dropped deep into those midfield positions as well, which has taken the attention of Lallana and Bissouma at times. So I think because the distances have been so good for Tottenham, it's been a struggle for Brighton to get on the ball.
They have it now though with Pascal Gross. Ball into the feet of the edge of the penalty area. It's a great little step over from Lallana. Mope tried to give him the return ball. Spurs read it and bring it away. Lucas Moura for Son. Back for Moura. Kane dropping off deep, has got 10 yards of space, but the ball's bypassed him and is played out towards Winks instead. Kane makes more progress off the ball and Winks tries his luck. Used Kane's progress as a decoy, but a right-footed effort from 25 yards is comfortably caught by Sanchez.
Yeah, more nice play from Tottenham. Excellent counter-attack from them. I wish this was the other way around though. I wish this was Harry Winks to Lucas Moura, because Harry Winks didn't have the pace to go on and try and get a clean shot away. In the end, he's having a shot from distance, about 25-30 yards, and it was a comfortable save for Robert Sanchez.
Build up to Chris Eubank Jr. against Liam Williams, which begins at 10 o'clock or so tonight over on TalkSport. Is They're right now live from Cardiff over on TalkSport. Sports Breakfast on Monday. We'll see Eddie Hearn, Jake Paul and Katie Taylor live in the studio with Laura Woods, Ali McCoist and Jamie O'Hara. And another date for your diary coming up 2 weeks tonight. Amir Khan against Kell Brook. And that's also live and exclusive on TalkSport. That's from Manchester from 7:30. 2 weeks tonight, Saturday, February 19th. Webster playing the ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Gross with a layoff. It's knocked away by Romero. Winks turning it forward in space. Now Emerson Royale able to break forward quickly over halfway. March staying with him. And back goal side now. Oh, he's fired it! Oh, he squeezed it in from an unfeasible angle. Don't know whether he's taken a slight nick on its way through, but Tottenham double their lead. Emerson Royale making his way towards the touchline. He was almost on the touchline. A right-footed cross which has looped up over Sanchez and off the inside side netting. Tottenham 2, Brighton 0.
Well, we've already seen a touch of class from Harry Kane to put Spurs ahead. We've extended that lead now with another stunner. Emerson Royale this time. The counter-attack has been good to Tottenham. They've been able to get bodies in beyond that Brighton defence, and Emerson Royale had a lot to do. I think he's looking for the cross. I think he's looking for help inside the box. In the end, he just strikes it, and it does, I think, take a little nick off Solly March, who's worked really hard to get himself back into shape, which deceives Robert Sanchez, and it loops into the far corner. He has a look, and I'm sure he's looking for support from a teammate, and it's a bit of fortune that it finds its way into the far corner. No more than he deserves. He's had a really good start to the game, but I think it's a slightly fortunate goal.
It'll be interesting to see whether it goes down as an Emerson Royale goal or a March own goal. Don't know that the cross, without the slight nick off the top of March's boot, would have gone in by itself. But it's 2-0 Tottenham, that's the bottom line. And credit to Emerson Royale, who bought a ticket after a 60-yard run. And now here's Son, but it just evaded him. I think it will be a March own goal. 2-0 Spurs lead.
What I'd say is he deserves his fortune for the amount of running that he's done and how brave he's been in getting into forward positions. Emerson Royale, he's continued the wrong side of Solly March. They have counter-attacked really well, Tottenham.
Header away from Reguilon. And it goes out for a throw that'll be taken by Lamptey. Well, you think there have been a few mishits. You think of that game against Morecambe here, but the Harry Winks goal. And now they've had that little bit of luck tonight. And Emerson Royale will say with some justification that he deserved his luck for the quality of the run forward and the speed of the counter-attack. Then about 3 yards from the dead ball line when he fired in the cross. Brighton were 2-0 down at Anfield and came back to draw, but they've got some serious work to do here. Just past the midway stage of the first half. It's 2-0 to Tottenham and Cucurella is in possession.
Just look at Tottenham now, Jim, without the ball and how tight and compact they are. This is a real Antonio Conte display, isn't it? How he wants them without the ball. Without possession, they've got themselves into a shape and say, go on then, break us down. And it's almost impossible. Son and Moore are getting back in support of Winks and Højbjerg. There's a gap between defence and forwards is, 25 yards, 30 yards maximum?
Well, he's hardly had any time on the training ground, in the grand scheme of things, to be able to implement his ideas. But this international break seems to have done Spurs the world of good. And Kane has sprayed it out wide for Reguilon, left-hand side of the penalty area. He delivers. It's half clear towards the edge of the box. Winks takes it on and only finds the crowd. 2-0 to Tottenham with 27 gone on TalkSport 2.
All stemmed from Reguilon this time, down the left-hand side, getting the wrong side of Tariq Lamptey. Brighton thought they were in control of the ball, and because of that, they pushed their wing-backs forward. So Lamptey and Solly March quite high up. But as soon as it's turned over, they're looking for those wing-backs, Tottenham, Royale and Reguilon. And Reguilon this time is 10 yards the wrong side of Lamptey when he picks up possession. Right. Just seen a replay, sorry Jim, I've just seen a replay of the goal there, of Emerson Royale's goal. It takes a big deflection. It has to go down as an own goal.
Brighton playing out from the back. And again, keeping their nerve under pressure. They've won a throw, which Webster's going to take, level the edge of his own penalty area. Brighton have lost each of their last 7 visits to Spurs. Their only ever win at Tottenham was 40 seasons ago, with a goal from the late Michael Robinson at White Hart Lane. Any previous FA Cup meeting between the two back in 2005, and Spurs won that one as well. Robbie Keane scoring the winner in a 2-1 victory. Spurs 2 goals to the good tonight. Cucurella to March. Marching towards the feet of Yves Bissouma. Gets a return ball. Now goes back out for Cucurella again. Bissouma in his white boots, about 10 yards adrift of the edge of the penalty area. Webster comes forward to be another body to join the attack for Brighton. Little 1-2 between him and Lamptey. Webster hits it in first time. Only a Spurs man that he hit, and they weren't really attacking the cross with any conviction. Mopé always going to be out-muscled by the centre-halves. Shot then comes in from March. And that took a deflection as well, but maybe that's been the difference between the two sides so far, that when March tries a shot, and the deflection just loops into the hands of the goalkeeper. Spurs get it forward quickly again. Højbjerg, wide of the right-hand side of the area. Kane! It's wide, but the flag was up. He clipped it in towards the far post. Son was arriving. He was right by the post, which maybe just made it difficult for him. But in the end, Son got the touch which took it wide, but the flag was up anyway.
That's a great chance for Harry Kane. Just delayed it a fraction too long. He was offside, Son, when Kane just chips that ball to the far post, but really should be going for goal himself. Earlier, Lewis Dunk gets back and just forces Harry Kane to try and find Son at the far post. I tell you what, this is Tottenham performance with and without the ball has been sensational. Without the ball, they've been really difficult to break down, very compact, really tight, playing the box midfield. Højbjerg and Winks with Moura and Son just ahead of them. As soon as they win it, they make the pitch massive. They expand and get the 2 wing-backs really high at the pitch. Another thrusting run this time from Højbjerg that set Harry Kane up. This has been a really top-draw performance from Spurs this first half an hour.
Their best under Conte?
Best I've seen. I did both of the games against Chelsea in the League Cup semi-final. There's a massive gap between them and Chelsea, and I think the gap, the couple of weeks that they've had now in between games has really helped them. This looks like an Antonio Conte team.
Bissouma surviving a handball shout. They're able to thread the ball forward towards Adam Lallana. Lamptey, a chance for him to try and run Sergio Reguilon. Reguilon wins it, takes it down towards his own dead ball line. Spurs playing out from the back this time. Winks to Son. 4 from Davis, down towards Kane. Kane back for Reguilon. Reguilon driving it forward, and it's only then that the move breaks down, although still going to throw out of it as Webster chests it down, and it goes out of play. Earlier on the TalkSport network, we brought you Burnley 0, Watford 0. Sean Dyche saying after the game that concern doesn't change anything. It's about responding to what the challenge is. I think we've done that before. Roy Hodgson saying that he was more than satisfied with the team's performance. The wind and the rain didn't help. Bit of a baptism of fire. He was happy with the way that Watford stood up to it. Clearly worked for both of those to do in their relegation battle. Here's Son bringing it forward. Work for Brighton to do here. 2-0 down. Reguilon. Ben Davis left hand side of the penalty area playing it in. Reguilon gets it back. Now it comes for Son to Kane. Kane clipping it intelligently. It's Son round the back. Sanchez committed himself. They tried to walk it into the net. In the end, Lamptey was able to clear it into the chin of Emerson Royal, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. But the movement of the Spurs wing-backs is something, I know we've been talking about it before, but it's something we haven't yet seen this season under Conte, particularly Emerson Royal, who goes from right wing-back to inside left in the blink of an eye.
About to say, they're not playing straight lines, are they, Jim? You know, it's not like they're just running up and down and trying to get in behind the opposition wing-back. They're making runs inside as well, into the penalty area, into goal-scoring positions. The Spurs fans are really enjoying this. They're enjoying the purpose and the intensity about the Tottenham display.
You're listening to live coverage of the FA Cup on TalkSport 2. It's thanks to Neutrogena T-Gel Therapeutic Shampoo. Harry Winks, back for Christian Romero. Romero 15 yards inside his own half, plays it into the feet of Son. Son back for Ben Davis. Davis to Winks to Son in the midfield. And as everybody converged towards the ball, there was space on the Tottenham right, and Son just played it into that space. And Emerson Royal, who might have had a better game for Spurs, was first into it. Winks back for Kane. Kane 5 yards in from the right-hand touchline. Long crossfield ball from him. Lamptey could only divert it into the path of Reguilon, who controls it neatly. And will play it just behind square for Højbjerg. High right-footed ball swung in from him, headed inside the penalty area. And Davinson Sanchez just a little bit slow to react. And he goes out of play for a goal kick. So that last attack saw Kane and Son drop deep, across from the left wing back, into the right wing back, and the centre half from the right of the three was the most advanced player and couldn't quite get on the end of it 4 yards from goal. This is night and day in terms of anything that we've seen from Spurs over the course of this season.
Just about to say that, because that was open play as well. It's not like it's a set piece, it's been cleared, they've recycled it, put the ball into the box, and Davinson Sanchez is the furthest forward. That's open play. It all started because Emerson Royal was forced deep, so Davinson Sanchez made a run on the outside of the wing back, so he went forward, then Emerson Royal just continued to go forward as well, and Sanchez found himself at centre forward from open play.
Third and fourth place playoff in AFCON. Burkina Faso 3-1 up against Cameroon with just over a quarter of an hour to go. This one's got 11 minutes left of the first half. It was just a little push from Webster there, born of frustration, as Reguilon was shepherding the ball out of play. Webster gave him a right shove. It's quite a steep camber off the pitch here. It's not like the one at Old Trafford, but it's sharp enough, sharper than most. And once you lose your footing and you're going over the touchline, there's only one way, and you're going to be scurrying down towards the fans very quickly. Reguilon took exception to it. Ball out of play for a throw, which will be taken by Reguilon on the left-hand side. 20 yards inside his own half. Yellow ball in his hands. Quick movement from him. Hurls it forward, away from Kane. Dunk will guide it back for Sanchez in long orange socks and a vivid orange goalkeeping top. Sanchez taking it again. Side-footing it out from the back. It's the first time he's ever played an FA Cup tie for Brighton, incidentally. His previous ones all for Rochdale. The Rochdale side that gave Spurs a little bit of a scare in the FA Cup a few years back. Sanchez didn't play in that one. Brighton able to bring it forward here. Webster to Gross. Back for Bissouma. Cucurella. Cucurella playing it out to the Brighton left, where Modder had made a run. March received the ball. Back in field at Bissouma. Bissouma mocking it square for Webster, who makes his way forward within 20 yards of the edge of the penalty area. And Bissouma turning again to find Cucurella. A shock of curly hair. Now March turning back inside and then taking on Davinson Sanchez on the overlap, and he got it in towards the near post, but just a little flick goes safely into the hands of Robert Sanchez from Adam Lallana, who again gets it forward so quickly. Kane had got himself isolated against Dunk, waiting for the speedy ball forward, but his former England teammate dealt with him and got it back for Sanchez. Brighton will be able to come again, still trailing 2-0. Gross finding Bissouma. Bissouma to Cucurella. Getting themselves into this kind of position easily. But then a lack of quality of the final ball has been an underlying problem for them. And more so than that, as Cucurella missed March from about 10 yards and goes out of play for a Spurs throw. Matt Holland.
I was about to say it's a slightly better period for Brighton. And then they go and give the ball away again. It's as bad as I've seen Brighton a lot this season. It's as bad as I've seen them play all season. They've been all over the place. They've just really struggled to get to grips with the intensity that Tottenham play. Having said that, it's probably the best I've seen Tottenham under Antonio Conte as well. It's 2-0. It probably should be more.
Cucurella finding March. That's back from Cucurella again, squeezed inside the penalty area. Lallana dropping his shoulder, but just seemed to be bereft of ideas really. He saw that Mopé was there out the corner of his eye, couldn't find him, and by the time he checked back onto his right foot, even only about 10-12 yards from goal, the chance had gone. Brighton in the next phase of play, winning it back, and the second ball can come again. Foot comes in, diverted towards the edge of the penalty area for Mopé. Spurs hammer it away. It was route one that time, and Webster, it's a defensive header back for Robert Sanchez. Two more live FA Cup ties coming up for you tomorrow on TalkSport. From 11, the build-up starts from Anfield. The first hour of the programme ahead of a 12 o'clock kick-off. We've got the draw for the 5th round. And then it's Forest against Leicester, the second half of the FA Cup double bill. And East Midlands derby coming your way from 4 o'clock tomorrow on TalkSport. Also in the Women's Super League tomorrow on TalkSport 2, Chelsea against Manchester City. That'll be some games at 12:30 kick-off here on TalkSport 2 tomorrow lunchtime. So much live sport coming your way. Not just football. You're reminded that the boxing tonight over on TalkSport build-up right now ahead of Eubank Junior Williams. And they're walking at 10. Here's March. March on the left-hand side of the Tottenham penalty area. Back for Cucurella. 6.5 minutes to go to half-time. Bissouma couldn't get himself into a shooting position, but he can lay it off to his right-hand side for Gross. Good ball back for Bissouma. Clever little backheel flick. Mope on the turn. Slices it wide. Brighton's best move of the game, but it comes to nothing.
See Bissouma, he's the architect, middle of the pitch, plays the ball wide and then gets into the box, continues his run. Brilliant back heel to find Mope on the turn. He can't quite guide it goalwards. Without question, their best move. Having said that, I was just looking at Brighton. Had a lot of bodies forward there, a lot of bodies committed. If they lose the ball, they're in trouble because all the midfield players were inside the penalty box.
Already getting to the stage though, 2-0 down with 50 minutes to go. You've got to go for it really. You've got to be prepared to take those risks to get the bodies forward. There's Sanchez. And now they play forward again, and again they've given it away. Webster's atoned for his own error, playing out from the back. Hallmark of the Brighton game, but it almost broke Harry Kane's way. Cucurella finding Neil Mope. Turned into trouble. Romero just stood firm and won it back. The Argentinian finding the Brazilian Lucas Moura. Now it comes down towards Kane. Kane receiving the ball in his stride and running with real intent. A shot that was awkward for Sanchez, diving to his right. He's been able to beat it away. And now Brighton will be able to get their foot on the ball on the right-hand side with Pascal Gross. Sliding in, it's Ben Davis. Davis back for Højbjerg. Højbjerg to his right. Emerson Royale just had the time to survey his options. There was no challenge coming in on him. Brighton need the half-time whistle here to be able to assess how they're going to be able to get themselves back into this game, how they're going to be able to deal with this Tottenham movement, which is completely different really to anything that we've seen in previous games. Ben Davis brings it forward. Kane with the layoff. Back for Son, clip forward. Davis will make a run out to the left. He'll keep it in down by the corner flag, but all he can do is stop it going out of play for a goal kick at the expense of a throw. Forward of the break, and it's 2-0 Tottenham.
That last chance for Harry Kane came from an identical position from where he scored the opener. This time he tried to drag it, give the goalkeeper the eyes and drag it to the near post, and he wasn't fooled. Robert Sanchez, he was able to get down and make the save.
Webster preparing to take this throw. Chested down by Bissouma. Whacked forward by Webster. Winks. Gross doing well, playing it into space. Højbjerg occupying that space very quickly, and having done so, immediately chased out towards the assistant referee, claiming that it was his throw. There was then a punch of delight at the North London Air when the assistant referee agreed with him. Spurs take it quickly.
When I was playing to you and a January transfer window came around and you signed a couple of players, it just gives the dressing room a bit of a lift. We're on the bench tonight and there's a bit of pressure on the 11 that are starting because they know there's a couple of players who are breathing down their necks ready to come into the team. I just think that Bentancur and Kulusevski, although they're not in the starting 11, I think they've just given everybody a bit of a lift at Tottenham.
And also a few of the more disaffected players no longer here, and that might help in terms of morale. Those that are here will be that little bit happier. Here's Ben Davis, back for Winks, so forward by Son. Played in field there by Reguilon for Son again. Now to Harry Winks. Bentancur and Kulusevski both on the bench after their respective moves from Juventus over the last week or so. Bentancur costing £16 million, as near as makes no difference. Kulusevski half that for a 18-month loan with a view to a permanent signing at the end of it. Lucas Moura in possession. Right-footed ball chipped over the top. Son have made the run for him. And Cucurella will lay it back for Adam Webster. Brighton's number 4 back out to number 3 again. Cucurella to Gross. Lamptey finding space on the Brighton right. Desperate for the ball to be played to him, but Gross has just turned back infield again. Slowed it down a little. Bissouma. Now to Webster and out to Cucurella. Modder drifts outfield out to the left, and that creates space for Bissouma. Bissouma is played in. Lewis Duncan will bring it forward. It's a patient build-up, a steady one rather than being breathtakingly quick. Now Lamptey will go through the gears and try and deliver across. It's half cleared. Dunk wins the seconds, finds Bissouma, takes it down on his chest, then his thigh. Emerson Royale doing well. Sliding in though to win it back is Modder over on the left-hand side of the midfield for Brighton. The referee's played an advantage. Brighton still in possession. Mopé laying it off and a right-footed effort. Whistles over the bar from Modder. And Lloris was scrambling for a moment there. He was very grateful to see it clear that bar. Graham Potter turns and applauds. He's not had too much to warm his hands about tonight, but again, Brighton over the last 6 or 7 minutes have been playing their best football of the night, but it remains 2-0 to Tottenham.
Yeah, Graham Potter applauds the Brighton play, but for the majority of this first half, he's been turning to his bench, really frustrated with what he's seen, disappointed with what he's seen, because he knows his Brighton team are better than this display. But it has been better in the last 5 minutes. Just 1 or 2 opportunities, and Rode's chance there was a decent one. Just needs to hit the target.
They're getting more possession as well now, Brighton, and that's a nature of the game, really. The fact that Spurs are more than happy with their defensive ability to sit back behind the ball now that they've got this 2-0 lead, but Brighton have had more of the play than Tottenham over the game as a whole now. Lamptey finding Cucurella, who's just drifted into a wide position. Dunk from the left-hand side of his penalty area, clears the box and fires it over towards Webster. Webster trying to play it forward, has smacked it into Son from close range, who was closing him down very quickly. Son just for a moment thought he might have turned his ankle there as it ricochets off him and goes out of play for a goal kick, but he's fine. He'll be able to continue. Our 4th official, Darren England, is about to show us how many extra minutes will be played at the end of this first half. I would imagine that it's only going to be the 1. That is the case. Lamptey playing it forward. Here's Neil Mopé, fouled by Romero. And it's a free kick which will be taken by Brighton, but only after the referee's had a word here with Reguilon, who's copping a deafen. But now he is getting the instruction from Stuart Atwell that he must desist with those late niggly challenges to avoid a yellow card for persistent infringement. Free kick to Brighton on halfway, or just inside their own half. Last chance for them to get the bodies forward and try and halve the deficit before the break.
What they could do with it as well is a large portion of the crowd make their way to the aisles, go and get their half-time refreshments.
Cucurella. Lucas Moura winning it back. Still well inside his own half. Back for Emerson Royale. He pokes it back inside his own penalty area for Lloris, who hasn't had too many touches tonight. Cleared down the right-hand side, away from Cucurella via a deflection, and it's a throw that Brighton don't have time to take. Well, that has been an excellent Tottenham performance in many different facets. Going forward, they've been excellent. The movement has been sublime. Defensively, they've been sound. Antonio Conte looks as though he's finally been able to really stamp his imprint on this Tottenham team. They lead 2-0. Harry Kane with the first, capitalising on a defensive error. And then an Emerson Royale cross deflecting off Solly March and in for 2. Brighton have only had 1 real notable chance when Mopé shot wide on the turn, and there's plenty of work for the Seagulls to do. Half-time, Tottenham Hotspur 2, Brighton Hove Albion 0. Thank you, Russ. And news of a Brighton change at half-time. No surprise, really. It's Joel Veltman that has come on, and he's replaced Adam Lallana, and a change of shape by the look of it to a back 4 for the Albion. Veltman coming on at right back, and Lamptey will play ahead of him on that right-hand side.
Well, I said to Russ that I felt that he needed to do something, Graham Potter, and he has done that. He's adjusted it, and he has gone to that. Maybe it isn't a back 4. Sonny March still chasing back with Emerson Royale. No, I think it is a 4, isn't it? Cucurella left back now, Veltman at right back.
Sanchez clearing his lines. I'll go through the two teams for you in a moment. Spurs leading by 2-0 with Romero doing well to hold off Mopé. Played forward out to the left-hand side. And then back in towards Harry Kane, but he's lost it to Lamptey, who might see a little bit more of the ball now, and he will flick it forward here with the outside of his boot, but he can't find Solly March. Spurs lining up Lloris in goal, Sanchez, Romero and Davis, Emerson Royale, Højbjerg, Winks and Reguilon, Lucas Moura, Kane and Son. Brighton, Robert Sanchez in goal, Veltman at right back, Webster, Dunk and Cucurella making up the rest of the back four. Lamptey on the right, March on the left, Bissouma, Gross and then Modder in behind Neil Mopé. When he go in the second half, you're with TalkSport 2, a day that has already seen Manchester City and Chelsea, West Ham and Palace, Everton, Southampton and Norwich all make it through. Huddersfield, Peterborough, Stoke and Luton through in their respective ties as well. Tomorrow it's Liverpool, Cardiff and Forest against Leicester, both live for you on TalkSport, kicking off at 12 and 4 respectively. We'll bring you news of Bournemouth against Boreham Wood as well, and our other live game tomorrow here on TalkSport 2 at 12:30 kick-off for Chelsea against Manchester City in the WSL.
We haven't seen too many upsets, have we, so far in the FA Cup? Our head of football, I hope you're not listening, but Leicester might be in trouble. I think that's a difficult game for them against Forest tomorrow.
Yeah, very much looking forward to that. Trevor Sinclair will be alongside me at the City Ground tomorrow. Forest have already beaten Arsenal in this season's competition. Cucurella playing it forward, won back well by Romero, finding Kane. Kane's hardly put a misplaced pass out so far. He's set up Reguilon here. Reguilon firing one in from distance, which was blocked by Veltman. Comes back out for the Spaniard again, and he's turned it back inside his own half, and Spurs will be able to build from that little bit deeper with Ben Davis, but he can come forward 15 yards, then plays the ball back probably the same distance to Sanchez, to Lucas Moura. Moura helping it on again. Webster's there to gobble it up and find Cucurella. An intelligent ball into space in the midfield for Neil Mopé, whose first thought is to look to see where Lamptey is, but he couldn't quite squeeze it out to his right hand side, so he had to play to Pascal Gross instead. Gross has got Veltman making a run on the overlap. Veltman bringing it forward, first time ball in from him, it deflects away, Modder from distance. Well, he came close in the first half of the rising drive, that one even closer, and Lloris threw himself at it. He couldn't get there, but the ball just cleared the bar.
He's had a couple of those, Modder from distance, just arriving and bringing it under control on the edge of the box before firing an effort, this time just slightly over the bar. I think the change of system has definitely helped Brighton, because the Tottenham full wing back, should I say, got forward so well in that first period. Already you can sense that they've just got an eye on Solly March and Tariq Lamptey, who are trying to play high and wide, and they're just a little more worried now about how far forward they get.
You're listening to live coverage of the FA Cup on TalkSport 2. Spurs leading Brighton by 2-0, and it's all thanks to Neutrogena T-Gel Therapeutic Shampoo. A reminder, over on TalkSport right now, build-up continues to Liam Williams against Chris Eubank Jr. It's coming your way exclusively on TalkSport from 10 o'clock tonight. Webster and to Joel Veltman, 4 minutes into the second half. It's a good ball forward from the Dutchman. That Gross has done well as well. Mopé less so. So he's just waiting for the ball to come his way. The referee, though, has pulled it back for an earlier indiscretion on Gross after he had played the ball inside before Mopé lost it. There was no advantage as the Frenchman couldn't get there, and so referee Atwell's pulled it back. And it's a Brighton free kick about 15 yards adrift to the edge of the penalty area, which has been given away by Romero.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision. He's left a couple late, Christian Romero, and when the ball's gone, he's been out a long time, he's bound to be a little rusty, a little bit slower, thinks he can get there but can't quite.
Brighton fans supplying audible vocal support. This is the kind of moment they need to make the most of. Gross raising his right arm above his head, right-footed ball swung in very deep. March coming round the back, and swung in too deep for it. The idea was right, just the execution wasn't quite. He overhit it by about 10%. March sprinting after it, could get his left foot to it, but nothing more than that, and he's just tapped it straight out of play for a goal kick.
Been better though, I think, from Brighton. The shape of the side just looks like it suits them more.
Mope just getting involved there for a moment.
That's not like him, is it?
No. Often Brighton's chief agitator. As a few sets of fans up and down the country will be able to testify. And the Frenchman, very likeable figure off the field. Well, he's just trying to get in the face of the Spurs players who are doing their best to delay the restart. Here's Basuma getting goal side of Højbjerg. All right for the effort, took an inflection. Lloris then wrong-footed, falling backwards, did well because his weight was going completely the wrong way, but he stuck a left hand out and was able just to tip it into a wide position and deny Basuma Brighton's first goal of the night. The Albion have a throw, they've taken it quickly but worked it back inside their own half. Better start of the second half though from the South Coast outfit. Gross playing it out to Veltman. Back towards Pascal Gross again. Here's Lamptey. Basuma waiting for a pass which doesn't come. It's work behind him instead for Dunk. Cucurella able to bring it forward. Cucurella in towards Yves Basuma. Dunk down for Cucurella again on the left flank. Hooked inside the penalty area, headed away by Romero. Veltman coming onto it, chests it down, tries to get himself into a shooting position. Works it wide of Reguilon, flick towards goal, hits Romero and ricochets wide for a goal kick. Looks though it might be the first corner of the night, but it hit Lamptey last. Goal kick which will be taken by Hugo Lloris. Different game now that Brighton have made the change of personnel and system, but it's still 2-0 to Spurs.
Yeah, first time in the game that we've heard the Brighton fans behind the goal away to our left-hand side. They brought plenty with them. A good spell at the start of the second half, playing at a much higher intensity. It was a brilliant save by Lloris moments ago as well when Basuma's effort was deflected. He dived to his right-hand side, managed to adjust his body and get a good left hand to that.
He scored an FA Cup goal last season, Yves Basuma, against Blackpool. He's still yet to find the net this season. Reguilon making his way forward, trying to take on Veltman. Back for Harry Kane, third Tottenham goal, and you feel it will be the end of the night. Davinson Sanchez into the feet of Emerson Royal, inside the penalty area. Cucurella disdainfully waved him up after Emerson Royal had taken a tumble. Mope laying it back, Basuma there ahead of Lucas Moura, breezes past Emerson Royal, who shoved him to the ground, and that might be the first yellow card of the night. Certainly giving Stuart Atwell something to think about. He's going to get away with it.
He is, because Brighton want to take the ball quick, take the free kick quickly and get on with it.
They've been allowed to do that. Cucurella back for Webster. Basuma inside Spurs territory, but only just. Brings the ball over the white line of the centre circle for a moment, and then as it's played forward towards Lamptey in this more advanced position, plays a right winger now. Ben Davies had his measure that time. Shepherds the ball over the line and out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Lloris. 8.5 minutes gone in the second half. Brighton a better team since half time. Spurs still comfortable enough, leading by 2 goals to 0. They have got past this stage in 5 of the last 6 seasons. The one exception, fourth round defeat at Palace 3 years ago. Brighton, for their part, have got past this stage in 3 of the last 4 seasons. They made it through to the last 16 last year, where they were beaten by eventual winners Leicester. Here's Kane. Just giving a little shove to the ground, sandwiched between Cucurella and March. And it's a free kick that Spurs will take about 20 yards inside Brighton territory. 9 gone in the second half. 2-0 Spurs leader.
Just thinking there, Neil Mope, you said lovely fella off the pitch, not quite so lovely on the pitch. Paul Dickoff, someone similar. I mean, there'll be lots of people listening who's thinking, who's Paul Dickoff? Yeah, unfortunately
he's younger than I, don't say that.
We are of a different generation, Jim. Paul Dickoff though, very similar.
Here's Lewis Dunk. Yeah, been a few of them. And towards Sanchez. I'll say you don't come into that category. You can make up your own mind which of the 2 you fall short on. Ben Davies plays it forward, comes off Lamptey. And goes out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Tottenham left-hand side.
No, I'm the other way round.
Ball's out of play. Well, I didn't want to say. Ball's out of play for a throw. Son. Played down towards this near touchline. Emerson Royal trying to take it out of the night sky. It was a very difficult one as it spiraled over his shoulder, and it ended up coming off the top of his right foot and going out of play for a throw, which will be taken by Brighton. And in the second half, they've had even more possession, as you would expect with a change of shape, and the fact that Spurs are going to be happy just to sit back and defend this 2-0 lead.
And just looking at the benches as well, the two managers, Antonio Conte has been really animated this game. There's a couple of matches, the games against Chelsea, where I was thinking, not quite the same Antonio Conte, not happy and looks a bit lethargic himself on the bench, but he's been far more animated tonight as well.
3 attempts to 1 in Brighton's favour in this second period. Højbjerg has come back. Brighton fans claim that he used his hand. Nothing given. Lloris gets it away. Kane trying to help it on. Dunk will be able to pick it up at the back for Brighton and Hove Albion. His first appearance since December the 1st tonight after recovering from a knee injury. Fortnight's break has done wonders for a few players, being able to get themselves back to fitness, including this man, Son Heung-min, who then ends up in a crumpled heap over on the far touchline. Veltman leans over him by way of apology. Son's holding his right leg. Veltman caught him. It's going to be a free kick to Spurs inside their own half. 2-0 then.
I think it's been a big plus to get Romero and Son back into the team, but just looking at both of their performances, I think you feel as though it's a game that they needed.
Yellow card shown to, I look like Pascal Gross, possibly. I'm sure it was Veltman with a challenge. Son just being helped back to his feet now. Well, that's the first name that Stuart Atwell has taken tonight. Oh, it is Veltman. Yeah, rightly so. For a moment, it's a case of mistaken identity. It did appear as though the yellow card was being shown to Gross, but it is Veltman who is in the book for the 5th time this season. Former Champions League semi-finalist. Lost on this ground. They lost to Tottenham, shall I say. It was an extraordinary two-legged semi-final between Spurs and Ajax. Ball is back with Winks. Drilled back to the halfway line, but he gets a return pass, which he then couldn't make the most of, and then Bissouma has gone down, and Reguilon, who's on a one-man wrecking ball mission tonight, he still hasn't had a yellow card, but he's caught Bissouma very heavily there. And it's a free kick to Brighton.
See, that's a yellow card offence from Harry Winks, pulling back Yves Bissouma, and Mopé has just made that point to Stuart Atwell. Just say, hang on a minute, you just put Veltman for something similar, trying to counter-attack. Winks pulls Bissouma back, and surely that's a yellow card offence.
Here's Kane, opportunity for Spurs to break, options either side of him, played it to his left-hand side, and the shot from Son straight into the hands of Sanchez. Third goal clearly is going to be absolutely critical, and Spurs had a really good chance that they didn't make the most of to get it there.
Oh, it's a glorious chance. I just wonder whether Harry Kane could play that a fraction sooner. I think he had one touch too many before playing Son in.
Son has got 9 goals this season, 8 of them in the Premier League. Kane up to 14 with his stunning effort in the first half, getting ever closer to the great Jimmy Greaves' all-time Tottenham record. He's 29 short now. Another Brighton change is imminent, and it's another one of the excellent young signings they've made. Moises Caicedo will be coming on for only his 2nd appearance for the club. Ecuadorian international just getting his final instructions down beneath us now. 2-0, just over half an hour to go. And the ball out of play for a Tottenham throw. Cucurella stretching but unable to bring it under control. Sorry about the boxing that's coming up your way tonight. 10 o'clock over on the TalkSport. Eubank Jr. against Williams. 2 weeks tonight. Amir Khan against Kelbrook. You won't hear it anywhere else. It's live and exclusive on TalkSport from Manchester. 7:30. We're on air for the build-up. Saturday the 19th of February. Date for your diary. And Sports Breakfast on Monday is going to see Eddie Hearn, Jake Paul and Katie Taylor live in the studio with Laura Woods, Ali McCoist and Jamie O'Hara. I know it's trio my money's on. Lewis Dunn, get in the back for Sanchez. Right-footed ball cleared by Sanchez down towards this near touchline. Solly March heads it down. Play forward done by Emerson Royale. Out for a throw to be taken on the Brighton left. and they'll make the change. This March's coming off, Caicedo coming on. Now Caicedo spent the first half of the season on loan at Germinal Beerschot in Belgium. He's only made one Brighton appearance, which came against Cardiff in the League Cup. He started both of Ecuador's recent World Cup qualifiers, including the one against Peru on Tuesday, and he's going to get the opportunity to come on here, and he's going to operate as a 10, maybe as an 8. I mean, he's not in real close attendance with Mopé, but it looks as though he and Bissouma are going to play slightly further forward now in that midfield area. Down it comes for Cucurella.
Moder has switched now to the left-hand side. He was playing quite close to Mopé. He's now on the left where March was operating.
Moder's got it. Now he's gone back for Yves Bissouma. They think the world of Caicedo, a player that they picked up from Ecuadorian football. Goes out to the right-hand touchline for Tariq Lamptey. They like him as well, as you would. Here's Cucurella. And it's out of play. Is it a corner? Yes, it is. First of the night with 61 minutes on the clock. Well, I think it's Veltman that's going to come out to take it for the Albion, who will try and get the bodies for. It's Gross, in fact. Spots the ball down on the quadrant. Modder's waiting. Veltman's taken up station on the edge of the 6-yard box. Mopé trying to disrupt things right in front of the goalkeeper. Caicedo waits on the edge of the penalty area. Right footed in swinging delivery, which is headed straight back out of play. And you wait an hour for a corner and then two come at once. Højbjerg heads it out and they'll do it all again. It's going to be another Pascal Gross delivery. Same setup for Brighton. Webster, Dunk, they're both waiting near the edge of the penalty area in position to try and attack this. Modder is in there as well. Another delivery from Pascal Gross, swung in right-footed. Lloris was waiting just for it to arrive. Webster almost got there and embarrassed him, making a run across the face of the goalkeeper, but he couldn't get a touch to turn it over the line. Now Gross plays it forward. Caicedo under pressure from Kane, so well to keep his feet. Good ball inside the penalty area. Gross takes it on after Mopé found it difficult to control. Played back by Bissouma. This is much better from Brighton now, but they trail 2-0. Bissouma, corner of the penalty area, getting to the edge of the area. Watch the angle, fires it in. Brighton back in the game through Yves Bissouma. 2-1.
Well, it's no more than they deserve. They've been excellent at the start of the second half. They've pushed Tottenham back. They've thwarted the threat of Spurs' wing-backs. They've dominated possession. They've created a number of chances, yet to take one until now. Yves Bissouma's been a real driving force in the middle of the pitch. He gets a big slice of luck, as Emerson Royal did for his goal, because this one deflects off Højbjerg, which wrong-foots Hugo Lloris. It's a decent strike on the edge of the box, but it ricochets off Højbjerg. He's rooted Lloris to the spot, and it finds its way into the back of the net. The Brighton fans erupt away to our left-hand side. Game on.
Well, I think it was going to go in anyway, or it was on target anyway, but it was going to go to Lloris's left. When the ball is then cannoned off the back of Højbjerg, it's gone the other side of the goalkeeper, and absolutely no chance of being able to adjust. And it's Tottenham 2, Brighton 1. And it really is game on now. Remember earlier this season in the league, 2 down at Anfield, they came back to draw 2-2. Here's Harry Kane for Spurs, finding Son. Now to Emerson Royal on the Tottenham right, with the edge of the Brighton penalty area. Spurs are going to have to be a little bit more proactive now. Will they be able to exert as much influence against this remodelled Brighton formation and line-up than they were able to do in the first 45 minutes, where they were truly excellent. Son, back out of Reguilon, good ball in from him. Sanchez, though, dives out and clutches it into his midriff on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's Spurs 2, Brighton 1, 26 to go.
That challenge about 10 minutes ago when Harry Kane tried to play Son in, a glorious opportunity for Spurs to go 3 up. All of a sudden, 2-1, slightly nervy. Antonio Conte's had a little glance to his bench. Will he be thinking about making changes? I'm sure he would like to have brought Bentancur and his other signing onto the pitch, but he might not have that opportunity. He might decide it needs to be freshened up.
Son, oh, great driving run by Son between 2 Brighton players, poked towards goal. Kane slides it in. Goal significant for the course of tonight. Tottenham's 2-goal lead quickly restored. Son doing the hard work. Webster with a near fatal touch, taking it back towards his own goal. Kane's header bundled over the line. His second of the night. His 300th goal in 499 games for club and country. Spurs 3, Brighton 1, and any thoughts of a fight back might just have been dismissed straight away.
Oh, it's a comedy goal in the end, but what a run from Son. Starts inside his own half and he bursts past a couple of Brighton defenders. Adam Webster does brilliantly to get back and make the challenge on Son, but all he can do is divert it past his goalkeeper. He's going towards the goal, and Harry Kane reacts quickest to tap it in from a yard on the stretch. Just as they get back into it, Brighton, they give away a goal, and Spurs now look as though they're on their way to the next round of the FA Cup.
Well, what a milestone goal. Harry Kane, 13 in 12 FA Cup ties now. 6 in his last 6 games against Brighton, but they're in again. Play through the midfield, it's Mopé! Should have scored, straight at the goalkeeper. He was clean through. And Hugo Lloris stood his ground and gratefully gathered the ball. Didn't go down, didn't commit himself, but it should be 3-2. Now Brighton turn over possession again. Throws in towards Mopé. Just delayed a little bit too long. Cucurella trying to foul Lucas Moura. He managed it. The referee waited to see whether there would be an advantage. It hasn't worked Tottenham's way, so he's pulled play back, and it's going to be a free kick to Spurs. And now an opportunity to see one of the new signings, because Stan Kulusevski is going to come on along with Steven Bergwijn, the hero of Leicester. Lucas Moura coming off. But what a chance. What a chance for Mopé.
What a ridiculous 5 minutes we've just watched. Brighton get themselves back into it. Spurs then go and extend their lead again through Harry Kane's scruffy effort. Then Mopé goes through, should really be 3-2. Tries to pick the ball over Lloris, but Lloris doesn't go to ground, and all he can do is kick the ground and flick the ball into the hands of the Spurs goalkeeper. I mean, it's been a mad 5 minutes.
Spurs double change. Lucas Moura and Son coming off. Bergwijn and Kulusevski coming on. The Swedish international for his Tottenham debut after his 18-month loan from Juventus. He scored in the Coppa Italia final last season as Juventus won it. And he comes on for his Spurs and FA Cup debut. He's a 21-year-old, can play anywhere across the forward line, and he's playing on the right-hand side of the forward three here. Not the most prolific, couple of goals this season only. 19 in his career in 116 games, so that's what, a goal every 7 games in his career, but plenty of substitute appearances in there. Here's Cucurella. Kulusevski eager to impress with his work rate in the early stages, putting the pressure on. Brighton able to maintain the ball and play out from the back. Cucurella back for Lewis Dunk. You're listening to live coverage of the FA Cup on TalkSport 2. Thanks to Neutrogena T-Gel Therapeutic Shampoo. The night that Harry Kane has scored twice. His 300th goal for club and country. 236 of them for Tottenham Hotspur. Brighton will make another change. The boos for a man with an Arsenal past. Danny Welbeck coming on. He played in 5 North London derbies, didn't win any of them. But a former FA Cup winner back in his Arsenal days, and he replaces Tariq Lamptey.
That's the time to be brave from Graham Potter. Has to try and find a way back into the game, so bringing on another striker. Welbeck now playing alongside Mopé at the top end of the pitch. It's something that he had to do.
Danny Welbeck, who's made an impact off the bench a couple of times this season, notably with Piri's header at Chelsea. Here's Basuma from distance, but that one's cleared the bar by maybe 2 or 3 feet. Again, it had Lloris scrambling hurriedly, but wasn't as close as Modder's 2 efforts, which only just cleared the bar. been a bit of a slow burner in some ways, this cup tie, but this second half has been excellent. Brighton have been that little bit closer to Spurs. Graham Potter just on the touchline, exchanging thoughts with the bearded Scottish coach Billy Reid, the former Hamilton manager who's been a long-time assistant to Graham Potter now. Here's Sanchez, he's getting it away from Kane. Webster. Gross works it wide. Back to the Brighton right-hand touchline where Veltman now playing it right back in a 4, flicks it back in field for Webster. He's a little bit unlucky with his contribution to Tottenham's third goals. He tried to clear it with his right foot, he did so, but knocked it straight into his left instep and it just bobbled through towards goal for Kane to tap in. Here's Cucurella towards the edge of the penalty area, half cleared. Caicedo tried to take it on. Motta tried to return the ball to the Ecuadorian, couldn't find him. Spurs only get it away as far as Basuma. Veltman able to bring it forward again. Basuma's in a central position. Mopé beaten to it easily by Romero. Lovely clever turn by Pascal Gross, right-footed delivery towards the far post area over Emerson Royale. Cucurella can keep it alive, he chips it back in deep, that one's half cleared. Basuma chests it down, drags it back towards the edge of the D, no foul, and Spurs can counter-attack with pace. Kulusevski, and towards Bergwijn. Harry Kane making his way through the middle. Bergwijn, round-shouldered Dutchman, just playing it into the Kulusevski. Spurs doing well to retain possession, but any thoughts of the counter-attack had very quickly been negated, and then it's a poor ball through the midfield by Højbjerg, and Brighton have possession back as Caicedo lets it roll out of play for a throw. 18 minutes to go. The Spurs, unless they concede twice, will be in tomorrow morning's 5th round draw, which you will be able to hear just after 20 to 12 on TalkSport, ahead of our live coverage of Liverpool against Cardiff from Anfield.
It's been a really good game. I mean, at the moment it's frantic. Both sides are having opportunities to attack. Spurs really have changed, haven't they? I mean, it was a back three in the first half, no question, with Emerson Royale and Reguilon high up the pitch. Now all of a sudden it is a back five. They are being pushed back. They've obviously got that 2-goal lead, and it's a lead that they're looking to just hold on to. I think Antonio Conte would want a bit more control about the game. We'd like them to keep the ball better when they win it back, because they've been giving it away too cheaply. But I think we have to credit Brighton as well, because there's been much more intensity about their play in this second half.
There has been an aspect of some Brighton games that's noticeable, that they get better as the day goes on. I think that's borne out by the fact that in the last 20 games now, they've only gone 1-0 up 3 times in 20 matches. If they can improve that, good at coming back in games, but if they could improve that, then there might be an even better prospect. They do have the chance to record the highest ever league finish in their history. 13th it was back in the early 1980s that they got to try and beat. Graham Potter only 1 win short of equaling the club record held by Alan Mullery for the most number of top-flight wins as a Brighton manager. Bergwijn just losing out to Cucurella, then flicked forward through the midfield by Basuma. Motta can bring it forward, brings it towards the edge of the penalty area and then checks back. Basuma in space again in the heart of the midfield for Brighton, but they're concentrating just down the right-hand side for a moment. Veltman now can find Basuma. Mopé going for the return ball. Caicedo playing it back in. Cucurella puts his hands out and tells Welbeck to leave it. Now flick forward towards Mopé, trying to wriggle between 2 Spurs players, but did so with a lack of conviction. And Romero could comfortably get his side out of trouble. Now that's a clever little flick from the retreating Kane to find Kulusevski. Just a couple of nervous touches for him in the first moments of his debut. But he's found Bergwijn here. So far the play has just dropped in a couple of notches of levels of intensity when it's found Kulusevski. But Spurs lost possession and Brighton are going to be able to bring it away. Another change is going to be made in a moment, and Joe Rodon is going to get some match time. Haven't seen that much of it this season, only 1 Premier League appearance. Played forward by Basuma towards Welbeck, and a sliding challenge puts it out of play for a Brighton throw down by the corner flag. 15 minutes to go, 3-1 to Tottenham. Are they making the change now? Going to be Roden for Romero. Antonio Conte said, I don't want to make the change yet because one of his players has gone down hurt.
I think it is Romero's down. I think it's cramp. I think that's the substitution, Jim. It's Romero who's down. He's only just returned from injury, so surely it has to be Rodon for him. And by the way, Basuma, how good's he been tonight? I mean, he's on the wrong end at the moment of a 3-1 scoreline. In the middle of the pitch, I think he's been absolutely outstanding. His goals, he got them back in it, but he's really driven Brighton on in the middle of the pitch.
Well, you called it correctly. Roden for Romero it is. Big ovation for Romero. They've really missed him over the last 3 months, and he has looked the part on his comeback appearance and just being escorted off the pitch by Stuart Atwell, and Joe Roden's going to get called again.
Well, you talk about the January business, how they managed to get a number of players out and made a couple of signings, Kulishevsky and Bentancur. Well, that's like a new signing because he hasn't featured for so long.
And here is Bentancur right on cue. He's going to be replacing Harry Winks. Rodrigo Bentancur, another member of that Juventus side that won the Coppa Italia last season. Scored his first ever international goal as well on Tuesday for Uruguay against Venezuela. 180 Juventus games behind him. Series makes no difference. And he will come on here. A big ovation for him. As I said, in the build-up with Russ, I think pound for pound he's one of the best signings in the January transfer window.
Yeah, it's a great reception. I think the standing ovation is for Bentancur, not Harry Winks.
I've been looking forward to watching him play. Good acquisition. Here's Modder. Cucurella. Basuma trying to turn left-hand side of the Tottenham penalty area. Bentancur straight away in there to win it back. And the free kick as Gross fires one in and Laurie saves it. Has already been given Tottenham's way on the edge of their own D. Spurs leading Brighton by 3-1. More Live Sport from about 10 o'clock tonight, the conclusion of this game. I suggest you switch over to TalkSport to listen to Liam Williams against Chris Eubank Jr. exclusively on TalkSport. I'm expecting the ring walker about 10 o'clock tonight, so 25 minutes time or so. This one's got 12 minutes left plus stoppage time, unless Brighton can fight back and get a couple of late goals to take it to extra time. Bentancur doing well to climb in the midfield and headed on, looking for Kane. It's cleared by Cucurella. Brought down by Reguilon, but he's lost it. Veltman finding space, and Gross is first into that space over on the Brighton right. He's quickly made progress into Tottenham territory. Right-footed ball inside the penalty area. Welbeck peels through at the far post. And he went over 2 Tottenham players to find him, but he had to take a couple of hasty steps back, and in doing so the ball ricocheted off his shins and went out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, Emerson Royal and Davinson Sanchez going for the same ball. Royal totally unaware of Danny Welbeck behind him. He just pulled off his shoulder, and I think Danny Welbeck was expecting Royal to get a touch on it. He didn't. It bounced just in front of him, and he ran away for a goal kick for Spurs.
So another Brighton change. Modder coming off, and it's the 17-year-old Brighton striker Evan Ferguson who has come on. Doesn't look 17. He's not built like a 17-year-old. He's a unit. Young Irish under-21 international striker who got an assist for the equalising goal against West Brom in the 3rd round. Kulishevsky playing it forward off Lewis Dunk, and Tottenham have their first corner of the night. So it's another attack-minded change, another striker on for Brighton with a midfielder off. 10 minutes to go, they need 2 goals. It doesn't matter whether they lose 3-1 or 5-1, they just got to do their best to get themselves back into this game. But Spurs just managing the situation, running a few seconds off the clock ahead of this, their first corner of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's good to see Evan Ferguson. He's obviously let Aaron Connolly go out on loan to Middlesbrough, so opportunity knocks for him.
Kulishevsky curving one in towards the far post. I think it was going wide. Webster got his head to it, almost fell for Kane. Bentancur can pick it up. Kane then almost at left back for a moment, lays it back for Ben Davies, the only one of the Spurs outfield players that hadn't really made his way forward for that corner. Emerson Royal will take it on. Little foot race between him and Caicedo, and Emerson Royal won it. Kulishevsky back through the midfield. Bentancur urged to hit it by a Spurs fan behind us. not his style. Ball inside the penalty area over the head of Kulusevski. Cucurella could just stop him making a run towards it. Goes out of play, 10 minutes to go, 3-1 to Tottenham.
That was excellent defending from Cucurella, actually. Good ball from Harry Kane to try and pick Kulusevski out, but he just used his body to get between him and the ball.
Brighton again playing out from the back to their cost. And Kulusevski on the right-hand touchline is going to be able to pick up loose possession, yarded from the right-hand side. Back for Højbjerg. Højbjerg towards halfway. Danny Welbeck coming to meet it. Joe Rodon dealt with him. Kane turning it forward. He's on a hat-trick. Resisted the temptation to shoot. But takes up a better position. Bergwijn stopping the ball inside the penalty area. Turns it in, but Sanchez can make the catch.
Don't say that very often. Harry Kane turned down the opportunity to shoot, but 25 yards out on his left foot. I think he just felt that the ball out wide was a better one. I think if it had been on his right, he would have pulled the trigger.
Well, another milestone within his grasp tonight. If he does complete his hat-trick, he will tie Jimmy Greaves' record of 15 in Tottenham colours. Basuma finding Webster. Back for Yves Basuma again. 8.5 minutes to go. Be a bit of stoppage time because of the substitutions in this second half and the little bit of treatment that Romero received. Ball inside the penalty area from Cucurella's delivery. Mopé trying to take it on. It's headed on towards Welbeck. Just bounced behind him. Ferguson wearing 58 for Brighton in there trying to make life difficult. Brighton winning the second ball in the midfield with Basuma. Basuma to Ferguson, who helps it back into his path. Now goes out towards the Brighton right-hand touchline where a low fizzing cross is easily dealt with by Bentancur. Play forward towards Bergwijn, but he's lost possession. Caicedo taking it on. Mint green shirts all around the edge of the penalty area, but Bentancur brilliantly with quick feet has done well. Whips it away from Ferguson, flicks it off to his left. Spurs work it forward. Kulusevski's onside, and then Højbjerg making a run ahead of him, since he was going to be offside because he didn't play the ball quite as quick as he thought. And it's cleared. Dunk then gives it away. Straight back for Kulusevski. Inside the penalty, it rolls it in, and Bergwijn spoons it over the bar. Well, if there is going to be a Brighton fight back, that is a critical moment, because it should be 4-1 and game over.
What a chance. What a chance to just finish the game off. Kulusevski, brilliant. Really composed. I mean, Dunk gives the ball away so cheaply on the edge of the box, straight to Kulusevski, but he waits for the opportune moment just to slide the ball into Bergwijn. Slightly bobbles just in front of him, and he gets too much on it, and it goes way over the bar. He looks at the sky, can't believe that he hasn't hit the target. He was only about 12 yards out, the goalkeeper to beat. It should be 4, it should be game over.
Brighton hanging in there, but their lifeline is just one thin gossamer thread now. They need 2 goals with 6.5 minutes to go. Mopé can't find Welbeck, and as a consequence they can't find the first of them. They're talking of thrilling comebacks. It's been one in the African Cup of Nations tonight. Burkina Faso 3 up at home to Cameroon with 19 minutes to go, and they've ended up losing. Went to 3-3 with Abubakar scoring goals 7 and 8 for him in the African Cup of Nations. Then to penalties. Abubakar took the first penalty, scored it, and Cameroon won it 5-3 on penalties, and they have finished 3rd in the African Cup of Nations. The final, of course, tomorrow, Senegal against Egypt. Header from Caicedo. Brighton in need of 2 late goals. Goals on minutes 85 and 87 to get that one from 3-1 back to 3-3. Now we're in the 85th minute here. Brighton need to do likewise to get this to extra time first and then penalties, but chances are only isolated. Spurs in complete control. Ferguson, good control for a long ball forward from Sanchez. Cucurella takes it on, finds Mopé on the edge of the D. Little deflection on the pass, it might break Mopé's way. Welbeck trying to make something happen, but Højbjerg can hook it clear over his own shoulder. And then two Brighton players go for the same ball again. Veltman, one of them, has been able to come back and just about rescue it. Dunk then goes shoulder to shoulder with Bergwijn and can get it back to his goalkeeper. Brighton really living on their nerves.
He's looked erratic, hasn't he, Stephen Bergwijn, since coming on. He's missed a gilt-edged opportunity to finish the game off for Spurs, and he's made some bad decisions when he's picked the ball up in that forward area. He's struggled since he's come onto the pitch.
Yeah, as nights go for him, this hasn't been Leicester away, but when it comes down to it, you're going to have a slightly subpar night. You might as well do it when you're 3-1 up. Brighton have a free kick here, though. Spurs about to make another change. Matt Doherty is going to come on to replace Emerson Royale. Just a question of fresh legs on the right-hand side.
That's like a yellow card as well for Bentancur. I think he kicked the ball away, which caught the attention of Stuart Atwell. It was the initial foul, and I think he kicked the ball away, trying to waste a bit more time.
His CV would suggest that won't be his last yellow card in Tottenham colours. Some acquisition though. Doherty for Emerson Royale. The Spurs change. One of the Brighton players down injuries. Yves Bissouma was just receiving a little bit of treatment, and he made the familiar gesture over towards the Brighton bench, rolling his fingers around that he's not going to be able to continue. The Brighton bench have said, "Oh yes, you are." Gross is going to take this free kick. Swung in deep. Lewis Dunk coming around the back. Needed to be 8'4" rather than 6'4" to get on that. No, it's beaten him and gone over the line and out of play for a goal kick. 3.5 to go. Tottenham 3, Brighton 1.
It's happened a lot, that. Brighton overhitting their set pieces, evading Lewis Dunk. I'll tell you what, that Harry Kane's second goal came at such a good time for Tottenham, because after Brighton had pulled one back with Bissouma, they had a brilliant spell at the start of the second half. The Brighton fans were making plenty of noise, and then for Tottenham just to extend that lead again just a couple of minutes after conceding, it's just taken the sting out of the game, and Brighton have struggled really to create too many opportunities since then.
Doherty, the Irish international, with the ball in his hand just in front of us. Bergwijn coming to meet it. It's an intelligent header on and help down towards Reguilon. Oibier finding him. And Reguilon finding Sanchez in the right place at the right time to beat it away for a corner.
Well, he hit it first time. It was a difficult skill, so he went for the side foot towards the near post rather than putting his foot right through it. Sanchez was able to make the block.
Scored the winner against Leeds earlier this season, Sergio Reguilon, which remains his only goal in Tottenham colours. Corner, and they've been a rarity tonight. Only Spurs second. Taken short, unsurprisingly. Work back for Bentancur, and then Bentancur looking for Ben Davis, who took his eye off the ball. And Neil Maupay's contribution has helped Brighton win a throw. They've been able to turn a few games with last gasp goals this season, but they need 2 of them here, Brighton. 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go. My guess is 6 minutes of playing time from here. Well, in fact, it's going to be 7, because the 4th official, Rob Jones, has just indicated to the TV floor managers that there will be 5 minutes to be added on. We're 90 seconds away from those. Here's Dunk. Played back through the midfield for Webster. Webster making his way forward. 15 yards into Tottenham territory. He's played it out towards the right-hand side with Veltman just throwing a few shapes, trying to deceive Steven Bergwijn. The ball stayed still. Goes out towards the Brighton left. Cucurella just getting away from Kulusevski. Decent ball inside the penalty area. Headed clear. Veltman knocking it back into the fray. Brighton again unable to make the most of it. It was Gross that was lurking with intent. Spurs dealt with him.
Defended very narrow, Spurs, in this second half. Allowed Brighton to have the ball out wide and dealt with it when it's come into the area.
Gross trying to get it into the penalty area again, but he can't. The Spurs have shown a much better defensive aptitude today, getting the distances right, the angles right defensively. Bentancur getting it forward for Harry Kane. Kane trying to lead a counter-attack. And towards Kulusevski. 20 seconds to go before 5 additional minutes. 3-1 Tottenham lead. Kane has scored twice, including his 300th goal for club and country. Cucurella sliding in. Kulusevski unable to get it away from him. Cucurella back for Bissouma. Bissouma very deep. He's not moving with a great degree of freedom as we go into those 5 additional minutes. Here's Pascal Gross. Gross still inside his own half. Crossfield ball out towards Cucurella. Bounce a little bit lively. Cucurella can control it, having gone up through the gears on the left-hand touchline, but couldn't get it into Caicedo's path on the edge of the penalty area, and Spurs will be able to bring it away. It's another lovely turn, half turn by Højbjerg. He thought he was fouled. Referee didn't think so. Gross tries his luck, takes a deflection, almost broke for Mopé. Spurs get it clear again. Back it comes towards Mopé. Spurs once more with Bentancur just controlling things on the edge of his own penalty area, can bring it away, and then Kane. What's the verdict going to be from the referee there as he fell to the ground, clutched the ball? But the referee has said he was fouled, and it's a Spurs free kick about 15 yards outside their own penalty area. 3-1 to Tottenham, and they're nearly there.
I did think there was a foul actually early on in the play. I think it was Højbjerg who was brought down and by Lewis Dunk, but Stuart Atwell decided to play on. I think if we contrast the two debutants for Tottenham, Bentancur's shown some really nice touches, shown a lot of composure when he's picked up the ball. Kulusevski, I think, just looks a little short on sharpness. Perhaps not quite fully fit, but Bentancur looks a real start.
There's a fair difference in the experience levels of the two as well, particularly when you factor in internationals. Bentancur's played twice as many games as Kulusevski, but he's the real deal. He's the finished article. Kulusevski isn't yet. Neither the first to admit that. Spurs 3-1 up, looking for number 4. Kulusevski's got it now, right-hand side of the penalty area, cutting it inside onto his left foot, sets up Kane! And the hat-trick goal doesn't come. Cut across the ball and send it high and wide of the top left-hand corner.
Decent effort from Harry Kane. So often we see him just dropping deep to build play up. He does it again, which means that when Spurs counter-attack, he's the one arriving on the edge of the box to get his shot away. Just cuts across it. Be a bit frustrated that he hasn't hit the target, but it's been a really good night from Harry Kane. I think he's been the outstanding player from Tottenham's point of view.
2.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. It's going to be very late and very dramatic if Brighton can turn this around here. Caicedo chesting it down. Right, Spurs know all too well that 2 goals in next to no time in stoppage time can happen. Here's Bissouma. Bissouma in a central position. Plays that towards the right-hand side of the penalty area. Brighton's need now one of desperation. Slipping away from them very, very quickly. Veltman getting towards the byline. Right-footed ball, stood up, looking for Ferguson. Headed away by Bentancur. And it's a late Brighton corner, but they need a score from it, and pretty much straight from the kick-off. Less than 2 minutes of stoppage time to go. 3-1 to Tottenham. Brighton about to be the 10th Premier League side eliminated. Ball swung inside the box. Well attacked towards the edge of the 6-yard box by Ferguson, but he just couldn't quite get there in time, and it drifts away from him and goes out of play for a throw. Spurs in no hurry to take it, and that is going to be that.
Yeah, that is going to be that. Robert Sanchez actually a little bit disappointed. He was on the halfway line looking at the bench. Can I go forward? Can I go forward? Graham Potter didn't give him the nod. And I think that the job's done now from Tottenham's point of view.
It's going to be an 8th successive defeat for Brighton on Tottenham turf. These two still have to play each other twice this season in the Premier League as well. They've not met yet. Doherty with a defensive header. Mopé bringing it down. 10 yards outside the Spurs box. Caicedo. To his right-hand side is Pascal Gross. Veltman making his way forward. Veltman clipping it in. Welbeck trying to make something happen. Header on target. Spilt initially, but Lloris was there before Ferguson could take advantage. And it's going to end 3-1.
Yeah, an awkward one for Hugo Lloris. Danny Welbeck makes a really good run across the near post, flicks his header towards goal, and it just bounces in front of the Tottenham goalkeeper, which makes it a more difficult save. Having said that, just watch the replay. It should have been a more comfortable one than he made it look.
Dunk heads the ball away. Only seconds remaining, about 20 of them. 3-1 to Spurs here on TalkSport 2. Dunk to Bissouma. Bissouma, lovely turn, got away from Bentancur, trying to get away from Kane as well. He was fouled. Was he, Bissouma? Bentancur has gone down. No, it's not Bentancur, I beg your pardon. He's gone down, holding his back. Bissouma colliding with Reguilon, who took a very awkward fall over Bissouma, who's on the way down, kind of tripped Reguilon up, and he's come back down and smacked the small of his back. He's going to be okay, but would have been winded. It was a heavy fall.
An accidental collision with Bissouma, who I said about Harry Kane being Tottenham's best player. Well, Bissouma has been head and shoulders Brighton's best player.
Bissouma's goal for Brighton, nothing more than a consolation as it turned out. Harry Kane with a couple for Spurs. They've won it by 3 goals to 1, with Solly March deflecting an Emerson Royale cross in as well. And Spurs make it through to the 5th round for the 6th time in 7 seasons. Another all-Premier League tie, ending with the side the higher in the table going through. Spurs will be in tomorrow morning's draw. First 45 minutes in particular, they were excellent. It was like a new dawn for Spurs after a fortnight off. Harry Kane scoring a milestone goal, his 300th for club and country, and Spurs make it through to the last 16. They've seen a Brighton Hove Albion tonight by 3 goals to 1.